The name of the band is Shadow Bane, and the name of that tune there is called After the Fallout.
Good stuff, man.
Nice rocker there.
Oh, yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah. Well, we're still facing the fallout of the fall of the music industry.
Yes.
It is pretty much a dead industry at this point.
You think?
Well, we all know it to be the case. But this week kind of put the nail in the coffin.
Okay.
When you lived on the West Coast, because this was mostly a West Coast entity, but they had stores on the East Coast, but not a lot, and they actually had them in other countries, which you may have seen during your stint in the military.
Okay.
But Tower Records.
Yeah, sure.
Well, the founder of Tower Records, Russ Solomon, passed away this week.
Jesus, that guy was like 100, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was 92.
Yeah, he was an old guy.
Yeah, but he passed away, and I don't know about you if you've ever shopped at a Tower Records or not.
I have, sure.
Because back in the day when there actually was such a thing as a record store, the three that I used, or actually the four record stores that I used to go to as far as a chain is concerned, was Camelot Music.
Sure.
Which got basically bought out, back probably in the 90s, I think it was, and they changed the name to For Your Entertainment.
Yeah, FYE.
FYE.
Yeah. Right.
I don't even know if they're still in business or not. I'm sure they have a few mall stores left.
Yeah, selling shirts. I'm sure they're not selling music.
Yeah. And then Sam Goody was another one.
Okay.
And then the other one was Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza?
Yeah, because, if you think about it, a record album, it was black, and it's like black like licorice.
I don't remember their stores, though.
Yeah, Licorice Pizza was another one. Well, if you watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High, when Damone is giving Rat some dating advice,
okay,
he's standing there, and there's a little cutout statue of Debbie Harry.
Yeah.
Well, he's standing in front of a Licorice Pizza store.
I did not know that.
So when you watch Fast Times again, and you see that scene, you'll actually see it says Licorice Pizza.
I honestly didn't know there were any other scenes other than the pool scene.
And then the other one was Tower Records.
Sure.
That I used to go to. And then there was one, I don't know how big they were. It was called Record Town.
Record Town? Sure.
Yeah. So that was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go to any mall, most thriving malls anyway, and there usually would be two record stores in the mall.
Right, sure.
They would have competing record stores. And when I was going to college back in the early 80s, 82 to 84, I worked at a Camelot Music in the mall.
Okay. That had to be cool. I worked at a record store myself. I worked at the Warehouse.
Oh yeah, that's another one. I forgot about the Warehouse record store. They had a big store.
And the store I worked at was plenty big. It was great because, Lord, I stole a lot of music.
When that Zeppelin box set came out, that 4 CD box set.
Yeah.
That's where I bought it. I bought it at the Warehouse Records.
Well, I've told that story before on the show, but I threw it in the trash because part of my job was to take out the trash every night, and I knew I couldn't afford the $75 or whatever it was for that Zeppelin box set.
Yeah.
I stuck it right in a trash bag and took it out and put the trash in my car. I put the trash bag in my car and opened it up when I got home.
Yeah, it came in a 12-inch by 12-inch box. It was the size of a record album.
Yeah.
But it had the 4 CDs in there, and I think it had a booklet or something.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, I still have that.
Yeah, that's a solid collection there.
It is, absolutely. And then the second collection came out, but they pared that down to just a 2 CD set in a little sleeve.
Yeah, that was shit. That second one, and it was really songs that were not really greatest hits. It was just whatever's left that wasn't on the first 4.
Yeah, you're right.
Because really, I mean, Zeppelin only had, 6, 7 albums. And they put out 6 greatest hits discs. So how many songs were not on either of those two? About 10?
Exactly.
Joke.
So anyway, the freewheeling entrepreneur who built Tower Records into a global business and pioneered a new way to sell music has died at 92.
Damn.
Russ Solomon, who started selling records at his father's pharmacy in the 1950s, passed away on Sunday at his home near Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
And the founder of Tower Records died while watching the Academy Awards.
Ugh,
Does anybody watch that shit?
Apparently old guys.
Yeah, it apparently killed him.
Wouldn't it kill you? Would it killed me to watch it.
I had zero interest in watching any award show.
I wish I could say that I've ever had interest. I mean, I've never, I can honestly say I've never watched more than probably 10 minutes of any of them. And the only time I've ever watched even those 10 minutes was when there was like a band or something that I wanted to see, Metallica or something. But I'm not an awards guy. I could give two shits about seeing a bunch of millionaires suck each other off.
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, I could care less. So, yeah, I did not watch. Plus, I don't think I probably saw not one of the movies that were nominated. I mean, what were the big movies this
I don't
year?
know. I didn't see it.
Well, I mean, do you know?
No, I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, dude, this is one of those effects that of going to cutting the cord. When you cut the cord, you see almost no commercials.
Yeah.
So you don't know what fucking movies are out. I have no idea right now what movies are in the theater. And I have not seen the last time I went to the theater was to see Ted 2. I went with John and Stephanie. When was that out? 5 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago? That's the last time I ventured to a theater. Was for Ted 2. So anything that's come out since, I have not even seen. And I don't even look, dude, even if it's on like Terrarium or Cody, I don't look at the movie section. Never. I never go to the movie thing to see what's out. I could give a shit. Just fuck that. Who cares? Bunch of spoiled cunts.
I agree with you there. But anyway, getting back to Tower Records.
No.
He was giving his opinion on what someone was wearing that he thought was ugly and then asked his wife, Patty, to refill his whiskey glass.
Nice.
Solomon passed away by the time his wife returned.
Right.
So he was sitting in front of the TV, joins a glass of whiskey at 92, and checked out.
Well, this story would have been good, except for he died watching the fucking worst thing he could have been watching.
Yeah. Well, that probably contributed to his demise.
Yeah. Probably made him sick. Sick to his stomach, and then his heart just said, oh, fuck this.
Yeah. What's the use in living? Look at this trash.
Yeah. Why do I want to live when these guys are just what's popular now?
Right.
These fucking jizzballs.
Exactly.
No thanks.
The first Tower Records opened in Sacramento in 1960.
Wow.
And by 1968, the company had expanded to San Francisco. Its iconic yellow and red sign would later be seen as far away as London and Tokyo. Fans flocked to the stores, attracted by a relaxed atmosphere where it was easy to bond with other music aficionados. Solomon did not have a dress code for employees who mixed easily with the customers. If you came into town and you went to Tower Records, Bruce Springsteen said in a documentary about the company called All Things Must Pass. Solomon told Billboard magazine in 2015 that his favorite regular was Elton John.
Okay.
He probably was the best customer we ever had, Solomon said of the pop star. He was in one of our stores every week, literally, wherever he was, in L.A., Atlanta. He lived in Atlanta and New York.
Right.
The chain thrived on massive demand for physical music, which Chris Aiken is not a fan of.
I didn't help him much here in his waning years.
Yeah. First records and then CDs, Solomon built sprawling mega stores where fans could find everything from pop hits to obscure albums.
Right.
But the retailer was soon undermined by dramatic changes in the music industry. The rise of music sharing sites such as Napster put it under pressure, and the company's debt ballooned, and Towers declared bankruptcy in 2004, and it was liquidated in 2006.
But he had his money at least.
You would hope so.
I would hope he had taken out his own personal stock.
You would hope so.
Shit.
The bank said, we don't need a visionary. Solomon lamented All Things Must Pass, which was directed by Colin Hanks. So I guess they had a
documentary about it.
Yeah, some kind of a documentary about it. When we met Russ, Hanks told Billboard in 2015, it took less than a second to realize this guy is a great character and one of the most humble people I ever met.
Sure.
So anyway, rest in peace, Mr. Solomon.
Yeah, that kind of, I guess 92, you got it all in at 92.
You would think so, but you know, getting back to an industry that people in our age group anyway grew up enjoying and appreciating, and you know, that was the place to be.
Sure. Oh yeah, hanging out at the record store was the shit, man. I grew up doing that.
I did too.
You know, I mean, my time with the disc den, that's legendary around these parts. When I used to go hang out at Disc Den, which was a little tiny mom and pop shop, and just hang out and come up with every kind of fucking retarded thing I could ever say, and then I would take it to the radio on Sundays for the metal show. That was where I would get a lot of my material, was just being in that store and talking to customers and shit. So I used to love hanging out at the record store. But I'll be honest, I didn't love hanging out at the mall record stores, though. The two, I mean, the closest for me was Randall Park Mall, which is a real fucking dive, or it was, and I think it's gone now, but it was a real dive there at the end. But they used to have, coconuts, and was the other one in there Peaches? Or no, Peaches was down the street.
Yeah, I forgot about Coconuts too. They were also a Ticketmaster outlet.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons you would go to Coconuts, is because you could get your tickets. You know, but what was the other one? Did you ever go to that mall? They had, like, maybe it was Record Town. I think maybe downstairs was Record Town.
Yeah, the Record Town was downstairs,
and then upstairs was Coconuts.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I used to go into both, and then I would get disgusted because the price would be retardedly expensive. And then, but I would see what was out, and then I would go to, you know, truthfully, I would go to Fisher's Big Wheel from there, and then fucking see what I wanted.
Yeah, I remember when CDs got to be $17 and $18 a piece.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
It was, dude, and I was such a music dork. This is so bad, but this is a story I don't think I've ever told on the air. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But I was 17, I guess. I had just turned 17, and the big gift that I wanted for Christmas was a CD player. That's when CDs first came out, right? And I wanted a CD player, and I had told my mom and dad, I was like, I don't want anything else. Don't get me any kind of fucking clothes. Don't get me any kind of, you know, baseball shit. I want a CD player. That's the only thing I want.
Right.
If you're not going to get me a CD player, don't get me anything.
Yeah, I kind of had those times too.
Well, I was such a brilliant dummy that there was a store in Kent called Gold Circle. Remember Gold Circle?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Gold Circle was kind of like what Target is now.
Yeah, it was a department store.
Or Kmart or one of those. You know, it was a low rent department store. And I was so sure that I was getting the CD player that I decided to steal a CD. And as I'm sure you remember, in those days, that's when it came in the big fucking long box.
Yeah, that's what they called it. It was the long box.
Yeah.
And before you finish,
right,
speaking of the long box,
yeah,
it was the way that they had to display the CDs because when they were selling tapes, cassette tapes.
Yeah.
All the shelving and all the record stores were designed to where the tapes were in those plastic caddies.
Yeah. Right, sure.
And they would put them in the shelving. Well, when CDs came out, they put them in a cardboard long box.
Right.
And, of course, all the environmentalists were bitching that it was because only a third of the long box was used for the actual CD.
Right.
And the other 2/3 of the box was just display material, and they were bitching that it was a waste of resources.
It's wasting the trees.
Do you remember that? The big uproar about the long box?
I sure do. Well, as I finish this story, I'll stand with the environmentalists on this because the fucking long box got me arrested. So I decided I was going to steal a CD. And I moseyed and the worst part was I went into the Gold Circle instead of doing it from Kmart where I knew how to get away with it. I mean, my friend Scott and I, we robbed the Kmart in Streetsboro blind. I mean, I would say legitimate number, we stole probably 200 to 300 pieces of music in our couple of years. I mean, we always would go in there. I would look suspicious. I would track the one store detective they had over into the women's department, and my friend Scott would go in there and grab like 6-8 tapes, stick them in his coat, buy a box of Oreos or something, and leave. And then they'd arrest me, but then they couldn't do anything because they didn't have anything on me. You know, so they'd have to let me go, and then I'd meet him at his house, and we'd split up the tapes. That was our way that we did things back in the day.
Split up the booty.
We did, but it worked perfect. So I don't know why I decided to go to Gold Circle.
Well, Wes wants to know what CD it was.
I'll get there because when I tell you, it's going to be like, all right, not the worst, but not certainly not.
You risk jail for Kajagoogoo?
No, it's not quite that bad, but it's not. It's a good band and a bad disc from a good band.
You risk jail for Soft Cell?
Almost. I actually I risked jail for ZZ Top's Afterburner.
Oh, man, the one after Eliminator.
Yes.
All right.
The one that's not good.
Yeah.
The one that's like all poppy.
Yeah, it had Rough Boy on it.
Sleep inside my sleeping bag.
Did that had the Tube Snake Boogie on it?
Yeah, oh, it's such a crummy record. But so I went in the store and I grabbed it and I started walking around. And the problem was I didn't know any of the fucking people. You know, so I didn't know who was a store detective and who wasn't. So I went over by the coats I was going to pick up a coat. And as I was trying it on, I was going to jam the fucking box down my pants.
Okay.
And then I was going to go put the coat back down and walk straight out the fucking store. Well, the box was so damn long that it caught on my shirt. And I couldn't get the fucking, I was panicking at this, I started panicking with this fucking tape or CD half in my pants and sticking out of my fucking shirt. And I was like, oh, fuck. So instead of just taking it back out and getting the fuck out of there, I just stood there fucking around with it for probably 2 minutes until I got it right. And then sure enough, as I started walking toward the door, I got up to the door and I was like, oh, I'm going to make it. Boom. Guy fucking grabbed me by my fucking neck.
Nice. Took
me in the room, found the CD. And he was cool. And I'll tell you, my mom and dad, not so cool. They got called. They came to pick me up. And the store detective is like, you're going to have to sign here to take him with you. And my mom was like, what if we don't want to take him? Take him to jail. And I was like, what?
How old were you?
16.
17. All right.
Yeah, whatever year that came out. Was that 86?
Mm-hmm.
So it was 86. I was 17.
Yeah, because Eliminator came out in 83, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I was 17 years old. But my mom did. She without even hesitating, she's like, take him to jail. We're not signing for him. And they eventually did because the store detective took him out of the room. And, I was all fucking weeping like a girl. Oh, my mom hates me now. But I ended up getting arrested, and, nothing ever came out of it. I don't even remember if I ever had to go to court. I think I just wasn't allowed in Gold Circle anymore.
Yeah, then they went under.
Yeah, I showed them. I waited them out, pal.
Yeah, they were out of business.
Yep, see you later. Now I can go back into whatever's there now, whatever the Berman Shoe Palace or whatever's over there now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's my CD. That's my got caught stealing
Well, did
story.
you get the CD player?
No, they took it back. My parents took the CD player back. They were going to give it to me, but after I got arrested, because this is right before Christmas, too. This was like a week or so before Christmas, so I got nothing for Christmas.
Nice.
I got shit. Not even, you know what I got? As a matter of fact, I got a card saying that I would have gotten the CD player. That's what my parents got me. A card that said I would have gotten the CD player.
So basically, young Chris Aiken got a big fuck you, pal, from your parents.
I most certainly did, as they should have done, to be honest. More parents should be like that.
Yeah.
Your kid fucks up, fuck them back.
Yeah, so you not only did you get a fuck you, pal, but it was delivered in a sealed envelope.
That's right. It certainly was.
Nice.
So that's my stolen CD story. I never told that one before, did I?
No, I don't think so. I know that you told about how you used to steal CDs from Kmart, but I didn't know about the Gold Circle arrest.
Yeah, one of my many arrests. There's still plenty of arrests that I have not talked about
Right.
on this